Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Charlie, if I haven't said that before. Some people know me as Charlie, some people don't. Things we've got to do today and things I want to do today. So let's start with the basics. This lithium battery is fully charged on the new battery charger. Now the battery for that AR5 has been on my old charger all night and it looked like it was charged okay. I switched it to the new charger this morning and the new charger says it was on 25%, but the new charger has can revive old batteries and stuff like that, so it might bring that battery back to life, which would be great. That just saves us so much time and hassle on that bike there. I can't wait to try and start the CAF, especially as I have a battery and all I need to do is chuck fuel in it. However, I'm gonna have to hold off for a little bit because priority is this. Now, we've looked at this a couple of times. I've shown you that there is a pinhole in the radiator up here. However, after sitting a couple of days, I found a pinhole down here somewhere. So I think this cover has to come off again. Now, it's good news and it's bad news. I think it's time, pop this cover off, paint it black. I think that's okay. Obviously I'll need to mess around with all this again, which was a pain, but I have kind of an understanding of it now. You undo all the bolts and then you turn that and it kind of unhooks. And yeah, so I need to drain the oil, take this pan back off again, drain the oil, drain the coolant, because that's going to spill out as well, and I'm going to catch the oil because it's new. I'm going to try and reuse it, and the coolant, I've got enough to flush the coolant, so I'm not too worried about that. But this cover definitely has to come off, which is a bit of a shame and also okay. I've also got a brand new gasket for it, so we don't need to mess around with that gasket there. So priority today is going to be this bike because I need to get it kind of moved and sold. Now to fix them holes, they're both in aluminium or cast iron, I don't know what this is. I'm going to use solder. I ordered some aluminium welding rods, which haven't come yet. If it comes today, I'll use that, and I'll use a butane torch to melt metal onto it. If I haven't got that, I'll use the solder, which will work fine as well. And then I get to paint this black. So that's all okay at this stage. I'm happy with that. But it means I need to strip down this bike, get the radiator off, and get that side casing off, and drop all the oil and stuff. So my next hour is going to be doing that. I will kind of show you progress on and off. And if we get all that done today and we get this piece back together, which we should, that's great. This bike can be re-advertised again, and hopefully people will stop offering me 800 quid for a bike that's worth, 15 really. So let's see how we go there. And then I definitely want to spend some time on the CAF, maybe. I'd like to start the ER5. I doubt I will. I also have to go and visit Nat today. I need to drop off the f650 this evening, which is, I'm happy to do, so that's all good. So I'm going to get stripping, not me, but this bike, and I'll kind of show you the progress as I go along. So just to catch you up, because I always forget. So you have to remove most of the fairings because I need to take the radiator off anyway completely. And then down here I've got out all the bolts. And remember, there's something to do with this. You do something with this clutch thing. You turn it one way or the other, and that releases this side casing here. So I'm going to kind of give it a tap and get a gap in there, which is what happened last time. And then you turn that one way or the other, and that completely releases it to come off. I think just be gentle with these. Just be gentle. Take your time. Don't go too nuts with them because that's the clutch. Obviously, you need that. And yeah, work it off, but you definitely have to turn that. So you put the thing back on, the lever there facing you, and then you push it or you pull it, you turn it one way or the other, and that releases this cover to come off. So just take your time, gentle, give it a tap with a hammer just to loosen it all up, and then work it off slowly. So there you go, the cover's off. It is a touch fiddly, but as long as you turn that lever away, so you turn it the other way, opposite what it should engage, it then slides off. What I need to do is clean up all this crap now, clean up all this old gasket. I've got a brand new one at home that I'll use. You can use some carb cleaner if you need to. Also get carb cleaner all over this now, because it's going to be, now we want this to all peel off. We'll also get the wire brush on it, and get it kind of as clean as we can. Find where that hole was it down here somewhere? Yeah, clean it all up, find where the hole was, and then we'll look at patching that up. And I'll take the radiator off so that we can go and do the same thing. And if the aluminium rod turns up, I'll use the alloy rod. If it doesn't, I'll just use the solder. Either way, it basically flows into the area and plugs it. So that's what we want. So this is the kind of before. Have a good look at it. It's in terrible state, it's all peeling. I'm going to spray it up with carb cleaner and get all of the gunk off and all of the old gasket, and we'll definitely give it a coat of black. I'm probably going to tape off this, because this area is covered anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'll tape that off, make sure it doesn't get gunked up. So I was looking at this hole, guys. You see that hole there at the bottom? And I was thinking, there's no way that's rusted through. It's too perfectly round. Now basically that is some sort of overflow system for the cooling fan. So I think I just hadn't sealed the cooling fan properly. So the washer needs to go on, and this is the mistake I made. Let me show you clearly. I lost the original clip that goes into there that holds this in place, and I made this one thinking it could just sit in there fairly loose, and it did work, to be fair. However, I then found the original, which I've now lost again. It's here somewhere, and it's a bit fatter. So the original, which I better bloody find, I think it holds it tighter, and then the washer there does the rest of the work, and it seals it. The washer seals on here, so the washer seals like that and squashes down with enough pressure, and that stops the water going through. So that's kind of meant to be there. It's an overflow system that's meant to be there. I guess you just got to get this sealed properly, and by using that homemade brace there, I made a mistake. So where did I put this other one? This is gonna drive me nuts. But yeah, I knew where it was. I found it, and it's here somewhere. I will find it. But it's a bit fatter, so I think it sits in there better, and it holds it all a bit tighter. That should solve the issue. I did want to get this off anyway, because I definitely wanted to paint it. It just looks terrible. When you're scuffing away at this surface, we're not thinking about clearing the lot. We just want to get it to the stage where it's set. So you just mess around with it, get it to where it's set, like that's set enough. I'm going to mess with this area here in case because look, it's a bit bubbly. Check what's underneath. If it's bubbly, scuff it, rough it underneath, otherwise it won't work. But the old paint can stay on, unless you have like a proper paint remover. You can just put that on and get it right down to metal. But for me, scuff it, get rid of any loose chippings, like this is still a bit loose and weird. And here, clean it. In fact, look, the big piece there, look, see that? Get it up as much as you can. Anything that's left and solid, then you leave as it is, if that makes sense. Really 10 seconds later, to show I'm not going nuts, it was actually underneath here. That's the fat piece. That's the piece that puts more tension on it, and that's the piece I made last time. So simple mistake there, my mistake, but it made me have to take this cover off. So fate kind of did something there. Fate said this bike needs this cover to be painted because it's not fair. So that's what we're going to do. So here's the radiator, guys. Now this radiator does its basic job. It cools the coolant, okay? Now let me try and zoom in on the hole. It is, come on, focus. It is down there basically. Come on, there you go. Right, so the hole is kind of down there. I can see it. There is a bit of a ding and a dent. However, it's all a bit scrappy, and I've actually already cleaned it. So it needs a coat of paint. It needs good cleaning, which I've done, and a coat of paint to then make sure that it, you know, it has another 10 years in it, because the paint is what's going to protect it from the elements. So I'm going to bung up the hole using solder, like I already said, and then I'm going to, yeah, basically give it a coat of paint on the edges, a very quick one, and probably the cap as well, just on the outside, and then chuck it back on, and that should, the solder, you know, sets immediately, so that should solve most of the issues. That's a tack coat there. You just spray it something like 80%, just roughly all the way over, and then I'm going to do a second coat now before I head down to the house and start messing around with solder and stuff. So yes, so you know, we're looking okay. There was only one hole on the bike, the other wasn't a hole, so that's kind of good. This should, by the end of today, be a better, slightly better looking, because that will be painted, fully cooling, fully running bike, which is great. As you can see, the new charger says this battery is fully charged, or nearly, flashing green. I'm just heating up the iron, ready to patch that little hole. Stop people offering me £800. So heat up the hole itself, the area you're working with, for a while. If I was brave, I'd bring the blowtorch anyway and I'd heat that up a bit more. But I'm not going to do. I'm going to use the solder iron itself, heat up the hole in the area for a while, then introduce the solder, let it seep right down into the hole, heat it up a bit more, let it seep, and build it up. And then you should get a nice good solid plug. I've already cleaned the area with carb cleaner. So guys, very lucky I put this, I filled it up under the tap. Now I thought I plugged, see that one there? I thought that was the hole, but actually it's coming out more of here. So I need to plug that area as much as I can. It's hard to do, for some reason it's not sticking in there. So I need to kind of work that out. The alloy rod would have been better. It might turn up today, so I might have to just hang around for a few hours. Yeah, I'm going to keep plugging away. But, you know, worth doing that, guys. Throw it under the tap and check. So just to show you how annoying my bikes are, I've got a grip from the... Is that from that same hole? Got a grip from that same hole. And we've got a grip from the radiator here, where it just comes out of that putty. So I need to think about what I do with that. Maybe the JB weld. But you can see it here, look, it's just coming out basically. So I'm going to have to peel that off. Potentially a grip coming out of this pipe or down this pipe. I'll have to look into that. But yeah, but that hole again. And I think the gasket maybe... No, it's that hole. It's that hole. So we've got this grip here still, and we've got this whole grip here. I don't think that hole is needed. I think that should be and could be bunged. And I don't know what to do about this one. The only radiator I found is £100, and it's tempting, and it's probably the right thing to do. Look, that's got quite bad now. Look, you see it. So let me switch it off. And I think, what's the plan now? Really, I should look at the JB weld now. Let me see if I can even kind of peel that off or whatever. So, well, sitting here pining. The shaft and the seals in there need changing. Now, you think they'd cost pounds, wouldn't you? But actually, the kit's like 50 quid. So I'm gonna have to order that kit. I'm also gonna have to order a radiator. You just can't skimp on that. I'm gonna show you a picture of the kit, the bearing kit, the seal kit, and I'm gonna show you a picture of the radiator just from eBay. And that's gonna be another 150 quid to the mix on this bike. So far this bike costs 550. It cost got 200 quid in petrol caps in it, so 750. Maybe 50 quid in oils and stuff, 50 quid in MOT. So what are we at? 850, plus I'm gonna add the extra 150 now, so it will only be £1,000. However, all the work will be done, and that's kind of worth doing. Now, once I've put all of this into the bike, it will probably still only sell for 1150, maybe £1,200, sadly. But remember, the channel's about helping people out and continuing to save these bikes. This BMW, the parts cost a bomb. They're hard to get. It takes a long time to get them, and it's all a bit of a pain. That's the truth. But it's well worth saving. We want to save the bike. Why not? So I'm going to order the radiator. I'm going to order the seal and bearing kit. That should be here next week, and then I can advertise this bike as fully running, riding, you know, just doing well all round, and it will not be leaking. If I buy these seal kits and it still leaks, I'm gonna burn it. So there you go, guys. I just spent another 150 quid on this bike. Yeah, takes my total up to 950 or grand or something, but again, it's fine because of the we're saving the bike. Okay, so I'm gonna whip this away. There's nothing more I can do on this one at the moment. Where do I go from here? I need to see Nat in a few hours. Should we try and start this thing? Let me go and get some fuel. I'm hungry anyway. I'll grab a meal deal, and let's try and start it. It's such a cool looking bike. Let's see if it fires. I'll throw some fuel in, just through the normal tank. We'll just see if it fires.